COVID-19 with Lauren Hutchinson, who's also known as the Rock Fairy. Hi, Lauren. How are you?
Hello, I am good, thank you. Sorting out technology, good old technology.
Yeah. Technology can be a pain sometimes.
It can.
But if it wasn't for technology, we wouldn't be doing this. So can't complain
this
too
is very
much.
true.
Now, we're always bumping into each other at gigs, and last one actually was it Massive Wagons or was it Novice Story? I think it was Novice Story gig that you put on.
It was, yeah. I think that was actually my last gig.
Yeah, that would have been the last one before lockdown.
Yeah. My own gig.
And what a gig that was as well.
It was top lineup. It was
amazing.
It
really was, and you decided to try out a new sort of way of tipping the bands.
I did, yes.
Tell us about that, and how did it go?
Yeah, so tap to tip. And I'm guilty of this as well. I'm trying to make sure that first of all, I'm being as sustainable as possible with everything that I do, and I'm trying to hopefully inspire others to do the same. And I'm guilty of, because bands don't always get paid the right amount of money or the best amount of money, the tendency is to think, right, okay, well, I'll just buy a load of merch that I don't even need, because you want to make sure that you putting some money back in the band's pockets.
Yeah.
And then, because band merch at the moment isn't the most sustainably made either, not many bands go that option for various reasons. So you're going to buy a t-shirt that's going to sit in a drawer that you're never going to wear, that's not been made in the best way possible.
Another black t-shirt to add to the
Another black t-shirt, yeah.
Various shades of black and grey.
Yeah, so I was actually, I was in London and I saw a busker who had an iZettle, which is a type of card reader, strapped to a mic stand, and people were just sort of walking past and tapping it. So I couldn't work, because I had an iZettle, couldn't work out how to do it, contacted iZettle, and they said it was a scheme that they were doing exclusively in London.
Yeah.
It was in sort of collaboration with the Mayor of London for buskers.
Yeah.
And they extended it, they were kind enough to let me trial the same thing. Well, once I explained that I wanted to do it at a big gig, so they sort of authorised my account and everything like that, and it went really, really well. Lots of people found it. I think there was a novelty element as well,
Probably.
people sort of doing it, but because I was doing, I think it was it minimum £1 or £1.50 or something like that. It was, so people were coming up and they were doing like multiple taps. During sets and things like that. So yeah, it went really well, and it was all shared out between the bands. I obviously didn't take any of that, and I paid all the bands that were playing as well. It's not, and I think there's always a danger with new things sometimes that people may take advantage. It's not a way to avoid paying bands.
I don't think anyone thought it was.
it's a way to top up, what they're being paid throughout a night.
I mean, you really look after the bands anyway. I was backstage at that gig, and my eyes were immediately drawn to the lovely buffet you got spread out there, and it was delicious. I know it wasn't for me, but I couldn't help myself.
Well, there was plenty of it.
There was definitely plenty of it, and everyone was commenting on how lovely it was. And of course, you always bring the cupcakes as well, and various other goodies. So,
I think a lot of people, promoters, obviously I, work with bands in a management capacity as well. So I go to other people's gigs behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm a musician myself, and I think as a performer, before you get on stage, what you eat before you get on stage is so important. Some people sort of, they'll go and get a pizza or whatever straight before they go on stage. Dairy can be terrible for vocalists, so that's why I do things the way that I do, because it means that the artist can sort of graze throughout the night.
Yeah.
They don't have to have this one big meal before they go on stage and then, have to wait till 2:00 in the morning once they get home to have something else. It means that they can just graze and keep their energy and look after themselves throughout the night. And that's, I think, really, really important. And it's an awareness thing. A lot of promoters won't necessarily realise that's what happens if you don't feed them.
Yeah, also, I mean, as was the case at the Novice Story gig, one of the bands had got stuck in traffic and took them like 5 hours to get there, and they might not have time even to eat, getting there late, sound checking. And so, I think what you're doing look after the bands and the fans is incredible.
And sorry, my cat keeps trying to get in on the action.
Oh no, that's all right. I'm very, very greedy for a fur baby at the moment. Anything fluffy that wanders past is very welcome.
You're the first one to hear this one.
Oh.
So I'm actually in the process of being accredited as a living wage employer. And that extends to third-party contractors, which is what a band would be, you know, if they played one of my events. And what that means, that's basically a legal commitment. Like the foundation can take legal action against me if I break this. That I will pay the living wage for every band that plays for me, and the way that will work. So living wage up Manchester way is £9.30 an hour.
Yeah.
So from the time that I expect a band to be at my event at Loading till the end of their set, they will be paid per member a minimum of £9.30 an hour. So obviously a headliner will get more because they're expected to be on site for longer. So that's where the sort of difference in fees between a headliner and an opener comes in. But yeah, so every band from now on that play, I mean, as it happens, I was doing that for the most part anyway. But now it's a legal commitment that I'm making to make sure that, you know, I can preach all I want of say, you know, we need to do this, but I need to make sure that I'm absolutely, you know, leading the way and doing that thing myself as well.
And if only everybody else was like you, because, you know, there's a lot of things that happen in the music industry that you don't agree with, that I don't agree with, that a lot of people don't agree with, that a lot of people don't even know about.
Yeah, of course,
and then you come along, the Rock Fairy, with your ethics for the environment, for making sure bands get paid what they deserve, for making sure fans have a great time at your shows. And it's hard. It must be very hard when you feel like you're the only person doing that. It's the rest of the industry that doesn't seem to be doing that, or if they are, to much, much lesser extent. So you really are, I think, you know, an example for everyone, as this is how it should be done. You know, as far as managers go, as far as promoters go, the rest of it.
There will absolutely be other people, you know, out there doing, you know, the right thing. I'm not going to be, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the only one in the world.
Just you.
Things. You know, but you know, I try my best, and of course, you know, I know obviously, you know, you'll see some of the things that happen to me on Twitter. You know, I regularly get complete abuse.
You do get abuse, don't you?
I do. And to be honest with you, I don't want to play the gender card, but I know full well that if I was a bloke doing the same thing, I wouldn't have half the rough time that I get. You know, thankfully I've got great people like yourself, you know, who are really supportive, and I think I'd have probably gone a little bit mad or even more mad than I already am. You know, without that, because it's daily. It's not even just every now and again. It's daily abuse of, like, you know, I mean, I won't swear because I don't know who your audience is. But
you can say whatever you like, honestly.
All right, well, you know, the abuse is like, you know, like, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch. You don't know what you're on about, and you know,
because I've read some of the messages you got and couldn't believe it. I mean, apart from the fact they're very, very poorly written.
Oh God, I know the grammar is always awful. I have some suspicions about
non-existent grammar.
Yeah, I do have some suspicions about who some of it is and all of that thing, but it's one of them. Block, report, move on, carry on.
You're not afraid to really tell it as you see it, no matter you know how big or small the organisation or you know is. Obviously, we're not naming any names here. I mean, it must take some guts.
I mean, I didn't. I used to really, really stray away from it. I used to be one of those people that was like, right, okay, I'll say all I'll do is I'll cut out the negative and I'll just make sure that I'm really positive and I only talk about positive things, and that kind of. And I think one of the things that really triggered it off was the Black Lives Matter movement. Not necessarily because, I mean, obviously there is racism in the industry, but that's not something that I can fully speak on because I'm white. You know, I don't experience that. But just that fact of, actually, do you know what? If you see it happen, and you ignore it, then you're potentially just as guilty, of these things. And, be it sexism, racism, shafting bans, all of these things, I've kept quiet for a long, long time on a lot of stuff. And there's still a lot of stuff that, I'm a little bit nervous about perhaps calling out. It's really interesting seeing fans, when fans find out in particular, so I'll always say that, fans are by far the most powerful force in this industry. You can have all the money in the world, you can have the best record company or anything, but fan power is absolutely the most powerful currency that this industry has. It really is. And now that fans are understanding more about how different companies work, they're being more selective about where they spend their money. And that's really important, and it's a great thing. It's something that I really hope carries on.
Yeah, I hope so as well. Looking ahead to next year,
yes,
how do you see the future of live music after the whole COVID? I was going to say the COVID incident, but obviously it's not. After the pandemics, do you think the changes that we've seen in the music industry are going to continue? Are we going to struggle getting back to the scene how it was beforehand?
I personally think that the scene going back to the way it was beforehand is a terrible thing to happen. I think that obviously it's horrific that it's a global pandemic. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I think a lot of the things that it's revealed, about human nature and all sorts of the disparity between different humans, I think it's a really, really good thing. And it's a chance to reset, and it's a real opportunity for us to take a look at our industry. What's broken? There is absolutely no point in going back to something that's broken. We've got an opportunity to fix a lot of things. I mean, I've mentioned before about the live gigs, taking them online and being virtual and stuff. I did 3 lockdown gigs, and every single one of those gigs was ticketed. And the artist was paid for those gigs, every single one that I did. To my knowledge, providing people telling me the truth, everyone loved the gigs. They felt like it was an exclusive experience. I know there's a lot of Facebook Lives and things like that going on, but all those things are doing are taking an offline problem, i.e. bands just not necessarily valuing their own art and subsequently fans not valuing that art, and moving it online. That's all that situation did for a lot of people. People are scared to go out. Not everybody is. I mean, I know people are raring to go, but not everybody is. Some people are actually, do you know what? I can sit in my front room on a Sunday with a beer and my mates and watch Kim on big telly. So some people are in that frame of mind, and that might change what the gig scene looks like. And I think it's really important that artists look to move and evolve around that, rather than people sitting there thinking it's all going to go back to the way it was, because it probably isn't.
Yeah, we've all had to adapt and get used to the new norm.
Yeah.
So, but I think most of us are itching to get out to an actual live gig and be there and the atmosphere and everything.
I'm going to try one of these drive-in gigs.
Are you?
I'm not the greatest fan of the company behind them, but I'm going to still give it a go, because my plan is
I know which gig you're talking about, and I know which company you're talking about. Penny's just dropped.
I know, I'm trying my best not to name names here. Go on my Twitter and I name them all. But yeah, I think it's something new, and to be fair, good on it. I don't know what they're paying the artists and stuff, but good on them for coming up with something new. And you know what? It might be something great, and it might be an opportunity for me to look at something and go, actually, how can I make that better and more ethical?
So what will be your first gig of next year?
First gig,
because we've written off this year, so let's assume everything starts up next year. We've already got loads of dates in the diary for various things.
Still potentially gigs this year.
I don't know. They're going to go ahead. I mean, I've got some in my diary that have been rescheduled for this autumn. Whether they're going to be rescheduled again or not, who knows?
Yeah, probably. I think Wagon's announced in March tour.
28th of March.
Yeah.
At Manchester Academy.
Yeah, so I think it's probably check you out.
Sorry, this came today. So
Mine hasn't arrived
It's all very
yet.
exciting.
I'm waiting patiently for my vinyl. But yeah, I think March is rings a bell.
Actually, yes, the Massive Wagons are playing Manchester Academy 28th March, and I think that's the last date of that tour. So it'll be an extra special gig. And my question to you is, because I know that you tend to get up on a stage with Massive Wagons and sing with them when they play Manchester, will you be singing with them in March?
I never know. I never know until the night, because what happens is...
Yeah, because I remember last time I asked you,
yeah, I never,
the Academy, I said, are you singing tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like with any band, Wagons, they'll decide the set list kind of either a day or two before or on the night.
I think you should sing this one.
Oh, the curry song.
The curry songs.
Very unusual
Fantastic
song, isn't it?
It's a bit different, isn't it?
It is very different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting like new music, more gigs. And you know what? Just seeing new ways of interacting with artists.
Yeah.
I think it's opened up a real opportunity to be creative, you know, with what that interaction looks like, both from, you know, my sort of viewing, you know, interacting with artists in an industry capacity, but for bands, you know, to interact with, I mean, Patreon's really taken off. Which is a good thing. America-wise, I think this is something that's going to start happening over here. So I don't know if you've heard of something called Cameo.
Yes, I have.
So Luke Spiller from the Struts, he has a Cameo account, and what he does, I think it's like $80 or something like that. Obviously, they're huge in America, the Struts, and he records birthday messages. So you pay like $80 and Luke will record a birthday message or a good luck message or, you know, whatever message you decide. Fans absolutely love it. They really buzz off it.
Yeah.
You know, and he's earning an income at the same time. I don't know whether that's a good way forward or not. It's an interesting way forward. There's another one called OnlyFans, and as the name suggests, so there'll be some raised eyebrows. So OnlyFans is generally for naughty videos.
Okay.
You know, so people sort of pay a monthly it's kind of like Patreon for porn, I suppose, is the easiest way to describe it. But a lot of artists have now started going on there, not in a porn capacity, you know, and showing the naughty bits, but just because the platform is so good.
Well, I want you to give your shop a little plug. I know you've had a refit and you've moved around a bit in Affleck's Palace. So tell us where we can find you and what you sell.
Yeah, so the shop is called Earth Friendly Rocker. Started as a project to inspire a bit of positive change in the music industry. It has gone wildly out of control and ended up into a whole lifestyle shop as well. So you can find me in Affleck's Palace in Manchester if you are shopping. I'm on the 3rd floor. If you want to find Earth Friendly Rocker on socials, it's just Earth Friendly Rocker on Instagram and Facebook. Didn't bother setting up a Twitter because I can't bother maintaining a Twitter account for it.
One is time consuming enough.
It is. And I'm on TikTok with Earth Friendly Rocker as well.
Are you?
I am.
Wow.
It's getting quite a bit of excitement on TikTok, and that's something I will say to any bands watching. Get on TikTok, it's where all the young guns are as well.
They are. Yeah, my kids are on there, so I think it's
I love it. I lose hours on TikTok. Well, yeah,
what's your top selling item?
Top selling item varies. So at the moment it's face masks for obvious reasons. The top selling item for the last few weeks is actually been reusable period pads.
Okay. I wasn't expecting you to say that, but
no, and honestly, people, you know, obviously for people who have periods, it's not the greatest time in the world, but basically, they're just like disposable ones, only throw them in the wash afterwards. But a lot of younger girls, you know, especially, have been coming in, discovering them, and it's really cool because a lot of women, you know, and it's not just women that have periods now, which is a whole other can of worms. You know, people that are non-binary and trans men still have periods as well in some cases. So my shop's been a little bit of a haven for people who don't class themselves as women that still menstruate, and they've been able to find sort of an environmental alternative to it as well. That's not something I expected. I tackle periods every day.
I think we'll leave it there on that note. Why
not? Who knew that periods would be in a rock chat?
It's been educational and a pleasure talking to you again. You know, finally, because like I said before, we always bump into each other, but it's at a gig and you're either hosting it or you're in the audience, and so am I, you know, and not as loud, we can't talk. So it's lovely to finally be able to catch up with you properly.
Oh, it's been lovely.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best with Earth Friendly Rocker, with your Rock Ferry Presents gigs. Let me know when the next one is.
You will hear more from me, I'm sure.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. Yeah. Best luck with everything, and see you soon. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Sita.
Bye.
Bye.